Hey guys.
Hi, Miss Brown.
Hello. Today we're going to talk about the reading standard that we're working on this week. And this one is RI 2.5. And the R is for, what do you think the R is for?
Reading.
R is for reading, and the I is good, information, reading information. So that's what our standard is all about. So what that means is we need to know and use various text features such as, and you guys can read these with me, titles, subheadings, glossaries, indexes, captions, bold print, menus, table of contents. Okay, and we have used every one of those at one time or another throughout learning in second grade. Probably did some in first grade too. So we're going to need to know, and we're going to need to be able to use all of these. Today we're going to focus on glossaries, we're going to focus on indexes, and we're going to focus on the bold print. We have more reading, we have more learning targets for tomorrow, but today we're going to focus on the learning targets that I have put here. I know text features are used to locate important facts and information. And eventually that's what you're going to be saying. You're going to be saying, I know text features are used
to locate important facts and information.
Okay, because we're going to discuss it and we're going to look for those things in these books that we have here. Okay. I know authors use text features to point out important ideas, which helps the reader understand the text. Okay, so pretty soon you guys are going to be able to say that because you will know that. So let's have you guys read that for me.
I know authors use text features to point out important ideas, which helps the reader understand the text.
Awesome. Okay, and the last one. I know bold print is text written in a darker print. Raise your hand if you already knew that. Good job. All right, so let me hear you guys read that for me.
I know bold print is text written in darker print.
Okay, and I have an example here of it's a little passage that you guys will be reading today. It's called Only Owls, and you can see that that part of the story is bold print. Yes, that part of the story is bold print. Also, as we look down, we can see that there are three major parts of the reading passage, and at the top of each part is dark print.
I was going to say that.
Not as big as the title, but it's dark print and looks a little bit bigger than everything else. So over here it says feathers. So what do you expect is going to be in this passage? Hannah?
The owl's feathers.
Talking about the owl's feathers. Okay, this one says eyes and ears. So what do you suppose you're going to learn about in this middle section of the passage?
Owls are nocturnal.
Does that tell you, does eyes and ears tell you about owls being nocturnal?
Yes.
It does?
No.
Okay, Carter?
Eyes and ears.
What do you think you might hear about them?
About like how their eyes and ears look.
Okay, how they look. What else?
Maybe their vision and how they hear.
Okay, so, and Hope?
Maybe they can hear far away.
Okay, so they might tell you how those things work, right? How an owl's eyes work and how an owl's ears work. Okay, and finally, in the third part of the passage, it says feet. So, Jolyn, what do you think you would learn about in the last part of the passage?
I think their feet are sharp.
Okay, you mean the claws on their feet? Okay, they probably are, and we probably would find that out by reading the last portion of this. So at the end of our lesson, you guys will turn this over and you're just going to answer some questions about owls, excuse me. All right, so getting back to our lesson, if you see, you all have a dictionary in front of you. And we said that we're going to talk about glossaries, indexes, and bold print. Okay, we talked a little bit about the bold print here. And yesterday we read this book, Snowflakes, The Secret Life of Snowflakes. And as we went through the book, we went to the back and we found the glossary. What does a glossary do for us? Hannah?
It helps us know the words like that we don't usually know.
Okay. Hope, what do you think?
A reader needs help on a word when you're talking to that page.
Okay, so what do you mean help on a word? Help spelling it or help how?
It tells what the word means.
Ah, what do we call that?
Information?
No, what do we call it when we learn about what the word means? You know how we do our vocabulary up on the board?
Yeah.
And we take our dictionary and we look for what? What do we look for?
You look for the word.
Starts with a D.
For definition?
There you go. We look for definitions. And in this one, let's see. Let's go to crystal. So the word crystal. When I think of crystal, I think of jewelry. But that, I know that is not going to apply to The Secret Life of Snowflakes. I know this is not about jewelry. So I'm going to look at the word crystal, and I'm going to read here, a solid made of molecules lined up in a repeating pattern. Okay, that makes sense. That sounds like what we learned about snowflakes, how they start out like little clear glass.
And then
Yeah, so it's a lot like the crystal jewelry, but we are talking scientific and we are talking about snowflakes. Okay, I also want to look at the word hexagon. Hexagon. We use it in math, and what do we know about a hexagon? What kind of a shape is it?
it has 6 sides.
A six-sided shape. And what does a six-sided shape have to do with snowflakes? Hannah? I want you to think about it for a moment because I know that you know. Carter, what does hexagon have to do with snowflakes?
Because it like starts to be like a little thing and then it starts to grow out a hexagon.
Okay, Glenn?
Most snowflakes are shaped like hexagons.
Okay, most?
All of them.
Every snowflake starts out as a hexagon, a six-sided shape. Every snowflake, not most of them, all of them. And when they end, they also end with 6 sides or 6 points.
It's like
Okay, so the word hexagon is here in the glossary, and the definition is a shape that has 6 sides. That sure does make sense, doesn't it? A shape that has 6 sides. So this glossary is really helpful to us to help us understand what they're talking about when we read the book and we go over snowflakes and how they begin and how they end. Okay, down at the bottom is the index. A glossary gives us definitions of words that are in the text. What does an index give us?
Tells us, like, from the index tells us where the pages are.
Ah, it tells us where particular pages are.
And it tells the title of the page.
It might. Let's take a look at this index. Okay. The capped columns. Remember we learned about the capped columns and they look like an I, a capital I?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if we want to know more about capped columns, we would turn to page 44 and 45. Let me do that. I'm going to go back to 42, 3, 4, 45. So there is the capped column that looks like a big capital I, right? And you can see several of them here. So the most information you're going to get about capped columns is going to be right here on page 44 and 45. So that index was very, very useful to us in that regard. Okay, what if I want to look, let me see. If I want to find out more about water molecules, because I know that a snowflake comes from water, I want to go to page 26 and 28 to find out about water molecules. So, tells us about the water molecules and how the snowflake ends up with 6 sides. And then this one, it shows what they look like and a little bit more about molecules and the hexagonal shape. So pretty handy stuff. So glossary gives us definitions, and an index tells us what page to look for when we're looking for something in particular. Pretty soon we're going to be doing an animal report, and you will have to look up information about the animal that you pick. So by that time, you will know how to use information, you'll know how to look for it, and your reports are going to be awesome.
And you know how to use a dictionary.
That's true, that's true. So now we have our dictionary, and our dictionary is kind of one big giant glossary. Okay, dictionary. All right, so we're going to turn the page, and we're going to turn, and this is a very important page. What do we call this page? I see what it says here, but what do we call it?
Table of contents.
A table of contents. Yes, a table. And table's kind of a word you use with math and science. A table of contents, not this kind of table, but a table made up of rows and columns. All right. So in this book, you can see different things that are available in the dictionary. Picture credits. Dictionaries are excellent when they have pictures, because sometimes we might look up the word and we're not familiar with the word, and then we look up the definition and we're still not sure. So if they can insert a picture in there, it's really helpful for us. There's how to pronounce words, how to use the dictionary. If we didn't know how to use the dictionary, we could go to that page and we can figure out how to use it for our own purposes. Dictionary, it says that it's a dictionary of the English language. There's a measurement table, one for length, one for weight. There's a reference section, which is really awesome. One of the references is a map of the world, flags and facts about the world. After flags and facts, what does it say? What page is that on?
644.
Good job. Okay, what does it say after that?
That's about the 50 states.
What page?
645.
Okay, Carter, what does it say after that?
Presidents of the United States.
And what page would we locate that on?
646.
Okay, good. And Belen, what does the last one say?
Index of picture labels.
And where would we find that?
627. And 648.
And 648. Let's go to the president's page, 646. So we know that's not going to be toward the front, right? Because that's over 600 pages. 646.
540.
640. Wow, it's really going to be at the end.
I found it.
You did? You found it before me.
I found it.
I found the flags page.
It's on the
Okay. Oops.
It's right here.
I got it. And you know what? Our dictionary is just a little bit outdated. How do you think I know that? Read the presidents. Read the presidents. How do you think I know that our book is just a little bit outdated, Belen?
Because Obama's not on here.
Yeah, President Obama is not on here. The 43rd president was George Walker Bush. And now the 44th president is Barack Obama. So hopefully pretty soon we'll get some updated dictionaries. Yes?
That means this book was when Obama wasn't president.
You're right. He was not president at the time that this book came out.
Wait, when did this
I'm not sure, but you know what? Every book tells you.
on the first page?
Not in the first page, but like on the credits page. Okay, this book was printed in 2002.
Whoa.
2002. So it's just a little bit outdated. A little bit outdated by 14 years. Okay, so as you go back to the contents page, and then turn the page, and then turn the page. There's a pronunciation guide, and it tells you how to pronounce the vowels and words with vowels in them. And then on the other side, it tells you how to pronounce the consonants. All right, let's turn the page. Let's keep going. There's lots of things that it teaches you how to use different areas of the book. What would we like to look up? What's a word we could look up? Carter?
Animals.
Animals. Okay. So where would we look? What letter are we looking for?
A.
We're looking for the letter A. What's the next letter?
A.
A-N. What's the next letter?
I.
A-N-I. So that's enough letters to help us out. Let's look for A. I found A-M. Now I'm going to A-N.
I found AI.
Okay, we don't want A-I. We want A-N-I. A-N.
Found A-N.
You found A-N? Good.
On page 9.
Okay, I finally got to it too. On page 19? Okay. I have found animal on page 20.
Page 20.
Page 20.
I just want that.
You guys were
Animation.
close. Okay, so let's go to the top of the book. That's not it. The first word there is not it, right? Okay, so let's slide our finger down. Second bold printed word, that's not it. That one isn't either. That's not it.
Found it.
Found it. All right. So let's look at it. It tells us how to pronounce the word. Look. Animal.
That's not how you spell
Animal. It's not how you spell it, but that's how you pronounce it. That's how you say it. And what kind of word is it?
Noun.
It's a noun because it names something, doesn't it?
It's an animal.
Yes. Okay. So let's read the definition together. Any living creature that can breathe and move about. All right. So now we know exactly what an animal is, right? If we wanted to know what a particular kind of animal is, what would we do, Jolyn?
We will look up an animal.
Like, name one. If we wanted to look up a particular one, which one would you want to look up?
I found one right here.
What is it?
An anteater.
An anteater. Okay, so he found an anteater on page 21, and the nice thing is that there is an illustration.
I know.
Yeah, so we know exactly what it looks like now.
And for animation too.
Okay, so let's look at anteater. Do you see the pronunciation?
Yeah.
Anteater, and it is also a
Animal.
noun because it is a thing, right? All right, so let's read it. A South American mammal with a very long tongue that it uses to search for ants and other small insects. That is very interesting, and I have a question for you. Let's close our book. Why does an anteater look for ants and small insects? Any idea, Kurt?
Because it has a long tongue and it can use its tongue to lick around.
Well, that's true. Okay.
Because it has a skinny tongue and a long tongue to reach.
Well, that's true. But why is an anteater looking for ants and insects, Hannah?
The ants are small and can get, because they're small and he's a bigger animal. No!
Okay,
He's
okay.
a mammal!
Okay, why is an anteater why does he even need that long tongue to catch ants and insects?
He doesn't have a mouth.
Well, he does.
He does. But he
Okay.
doesn't have a
What
mouth.
are ants and insects to an anteater?
Oh! Food!
Food. He's looking for them for food. So yes, he's looking for them for food. Now, what we're going to do
Is this owl?
is read about owls. And I was hoping we might find out about food for owls, but it shows us that it's going to talk about feathers, it's going to talk about their eyes and ears, and it's going to talk about their feet. So what I want you to do is read, and I want you to read twice, and then you're going to turn it over and answer the questions on the back, and then after a while you will tell me if there's anything about the owl, what the owl eats. Okay, we're just,
talks about snowflakes too.
yeah, it does. So we're just curious about that. Okay, well, get busy, start reading.
Okay.
You may.